What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some post-rotation deck lists for Charizard EX. It's a couple months until rotation for us, but Japan has it real soon, and we've gotten most of our Journey Together set revealed so far from Japan. There's a few more cards to go, but it's unlikely that there will be anything too crazy for Charizard. Maybe I'll be eating my words in a couple of days if something really cool gets revealed. But for now, we have most of the set revealed, most of the important cards, and nothing too impactful for Charizard EX in terms of the new cards, but certainly some impact to Charizard EX from the cards that rotate out of our standard format. Obviously, we lose Force Seal Stone, Manaphy, Lumineon V, Rodon V, those sorts of things, and so there are going to be some changes to Charizard EX going into the post-rotation meta, but I still think Charizard is poised to be super, super strong. A couple of questions that remain to be answered for the post-rotation meta. Is how good is Bidoof? How much does that affect deck building going into the post-rotation meta? And Bidoof is really impactful in the Prismatic Evolutions format before rotation when we have things like Regidrago running around, those sorts of things. Does Bidoof still have legs essentially into the Journey Together format? That remains to be seen. I think it's still obviously a good card, something you have to consider, but how much do you tech your deck out to beat like a turn 1 Bidoof from your opponent? That is the question. But we're going to start with just a classic sort of Charizard Pidgeot EX build, and then we'll take a look at another way to build Charizard EX in the post-rotation format. But first of all, we lose Lumineon V, we lose Rotom V, we lose Manaphy, we lose Force Seal Stone. So some big changes for the deck due to that, and I think those are obviously really tough cards for the deck to lose. We also lose Thornton, which has been another important inclusion in the deck. Maybe less so now that Regidrago will be gone, but certainly was an important card in the deck for a while. What we have here is we're building the deck with a TM evolution included, but not to exclusively be used with TM evolution. We want to have the capability of doing that in case we get Bidoof locked, but we're not fully leaning on that TM evolution. We want to still be able to go first, so we are still playing the 4-4-4 ball count of Buddy Buddy Poffin, Ultra Ball, and Nest Ball. We want to be able to go first. We lose Collapse Stadium as well, so we've thrown an Artisan in here as well. Sticking with the Unfair Stamp A-Spec, I think that is the best A-Spec for Charizard. Maybe Grand Tree is something that you would want to consider, but there's not really a great way to find Grand Tree now because Force Seal Stone is gone, and that was kind of the way you would find the Grand Tree if you wanted to play it with Charizard before rotation, which most people decided was not the way. However, with the TM evolution in here, we obviously need to play our middle evolution line, so we do have a Pidgeot in here, the 3-1-2 Charizard. Maybe you could up that to a 3-2-2 Charizard, then a 2-1-2 Pidgeot. We have a 2-1-1 Dusknoir line, then one Cleffa and one Pheasantipede EX. That Cleffa is going to be really important, so there could be a world where maybe you want to play two to use it on turn 1. But again, one of the problems with Charizard and TM evolution and all that sort of stuff is you don't have a ton of energy, so you're not super likely to find energy in hand to start the game. And so it's hard to retreat out of things into that Cleffa. But for our support accounts, we have 4 Arven, 3 Iono, 2 Boss's Orders, 1 Turo, and 1 Briar. Still the 4 Candy in here. We talked about the Ball Search, 2 Counter Catchers, 2 Super Rods, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Unfair Stamp. And then here's the new inclusion sort of down here is 1 Energy Search to combo with that TM evolution. Just a way to guarantee an energy off of Arven. We could Arven for Energy Search plus TM evolution if we don't have any energy in our opening hand, but maybe we opened Buddy Buddy Poffin, so we don't need to Arven for Buddy Poffin, and so we can use that energy search. And then we can TM evolution up into Charmeleon and Pidgeot, or Charmeleon and Dusclops, or whatever. But certainly a helpful way to get the game going now that we don't have that instant charge with Rotom V. Otherwise, if you are able to retreat out into Cleffa, maybe you use the energy search to find an energy to go retreat out into Cleffa and just grasping draw. So those are a couple of different uses for the card. Still have the Defiance Band in here. 6 Fire Energy, just want to increase that odds of drawing into energy in that opening hand, and then the Artisan Stadium that we talked about earlier. So this is more of the classic Charizard Pidgeot build for Charizard EX, just updated for post-rotation. Certainly lose a lot of consistency. So it remains to be seen what the best way is to rebuild this deck to make sure that it's consistent going forward. But I do think the TM evolution is a good start. and then having that full 4/4/4 ball search still in the deck is really good. Moving on to the other way, though, to build a Charizard EX, we've seen this pop up a little bit in the format at LAIC. We saw a Charizard Terapagos deck do fairly well. I do think that this is a form of the deck that could see some success post-rotation. We have a 3/3 Noctowl line in here, a 3/1/2 Charizard EX line, a 2/1/1 Dusknoir line, 2 Van Rotem, 2 Terapagos, a 1/1 Pidgeot, and then 1 Fezandipiti. Then rounding out the list, we have 3 Iono, a Jacques, a Boss, a Briar, a Research, a Chloris' Tenacity, Professor Turo, 4 Candy, 4 Nest Ball, 4 Buddy Poffin, 3 Ultra Ball, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Super Rod, a Prime Catcher, a Counter Catcher, 2 of the Area 0 Underdepth Stadium, and 5 Fire Energy. Now, a couple of inclusions in this deck list that aren't in here that I want to go over quickly. There could be a world where you want to play something like a Blood Moon Ursaluna in here as a late game attacker, similar to what we had for the Radzard, but it is a 2-prizer, where the Radzard was a 1-prizer. Then a Terra Orb, I think, could go in here, maybe slotted over the 4th Nest Ball, or maybe over the 3rd Ultra Ball potentially as well. Terra Orb in here, very good, finds you your Charizard, finds you your Terapagos, those sorts of things. So I think 1 Terra Orb probably fits into this deck list somewhere. Another thing to note is we can sort of get around a Badu lock early game because we are playing the Jacques. So let's say we go first, we get set up, but our opponent item locks us with the Badu, then we can use Noctowl to go find like Jacques plus Research or something. Jacques this turn, find Charmeleon, find Charizard EX, put them into our hand, and then evolve into Charmeleon, evolve into Charizard, and then go from there. Certainly is a way to get around that early item lock. We're not going to be able to set up as quickly like with a TM evolution, but certainly that Jacques can help us around that Badu item lock as well. As even when we're not item locked, it's still going to find us cool things like Pidgeot, Charizard, and then we can like Noctowl for Jacques, Rare Candy, Jacques for Pidgeot and Charizard, Rare Candy into Pidgeot, use Pidgeot to find another Rare Candy, evolve into Charizard, those sorts of things. So I think this is actually my favorite way to play the deck post-rotation. I think this seems just really fun, really cool, very consistent. Van Rotem as broken as ever. I do think these sorts of engines are really, really cool, and I'm excited to see how they do post-rotation. I think they're going to be very strong. So this is my preferred way to try to start building Charizard EX post-rotation, but I do think there's merit to sort of the old Charizard Pidgeot route with a TM evolution in there potentially. So both of these versions of the deck will still be very strong. I think post-rotation, a lot of the stuff we're seeing from Journey Together seems like it might struggle against Charizard. Especially Charizard with the Dusknoirs can get going so fast and so consistently and set up damage to one-shot. Basically everything, your Zacian EXs, your Zoroark EXs, those sorts of things are going to have a tough time standing up against Charizard, I think. So still going to be a very, very strong deck post-rotation. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Excited to see if you guys have cooked up any other versions of Charizard post-rotation. I'd love to hear about it. But I think this deck is going to be super strong, and I'm excited to sort of get ahead of the curve here, start talking about some post-rotation decks. Even though we're a couple months out, that deck, or that set, Journey Together set, is coming out in Japan now. We're seeing all those cards and getting us all excited to think about the post-rotation format for ourselves. So let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.